how to calculate cap rate on real estate investment. This is one of the most important calculations that you can calculate on your real estate investment to make sure that you should even buy this real estate investment. In this video, I'm going to break it all down for you so that you know if you're getting a good investment or a bad investment, or if you should just walk away. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, all you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
In this video, I'm going to break down cap rate and explain it to you clearly and easily so that you can understand and you can easily compare rental property investments. I'm also going to share with you how to get these calculations because there are some tricky things that you need to know and I don't want you to mess this up. And then last but not least, I'm going to define what it is and why you would even use this calculation and in what cases you should not even bother. So the first thing that you need to know is what cap rate is. Obviously, this is the capitalization rate, and capitalization rate is defined as the metric that is used to measure the performance of a rental real estate property, providing an estimate of potential return on investment. So what I have used cap rate for is when I am comparing rental property investments to purchase to see which one of the rental properties I should purchase. Now, so many times cap rate is used for many things outside of this, and it can give you an incorrect idea of what you should actually be using it for. It really is a metric. It's a comparison as defined in a percentage as to which one is better. So it is really great when it comes to comparing 2 or 3 or 4 or more rental properties to see which one is best for what you're trying to do. So let's get into it. So the quick formula for cap rate is NOI, which stands for net operating income, divided by the purchase price, okay? So if you were looking to buy a rental property, you would then use cap rate. But what you have to actually do is do another calculation before you could actually come to this percentage. So you would do this, and then you would get that answer, and then you would times it by 100 so that you could get what percentage it is. However, before you could do the NOI, the net operating income, you actually have to see what that number is. So let's talk about how you get the NOI. NOI, of course, is net operating income. However, it does not take into account the mortgage payments. And for some, this is a very, very big calculation. So when we're talking about the net operating income, we net out the expenses, but we don't net out what the mortgage payment is. So we're not netting out all of the expenses. So let's talk about that. So in order to get the net operating income, you need the gross income and you need to minus the expenses. This is a calculation that sometimes you don't even have. So when you're looking to do the net operating income divided by the purchase price, you may know what the purchase price is because again, that's maybe the asking price of what they're trying to sell you that rental property for, but you don't often know what the net operating income is, or they give you that figure and you need to calculate it for yourself. That is the big warning. So let's talk about what the gross income is and what the expenses are so that you can get your net operating income and make sure that your calculation is correct. So let's just use an example and say you had a 10-unit apartment building, okay? You had a 10-unit apartment building because, again, this is very popular for small apartments and commercial properties and commercial real estate and things like that. However, you can also do cap rate on a single-family home and compare 2 different rental properties, but that's probably not going to be what's best for this calculation. So let's just say you have a 10-unit apartment building and all 10 units are currently rented. Let's say they're all 1 bedroom, 1 baths, and they all rent for, let's just do an even number, they all rent for $1,000 per month, okay? So that would be 1,000 times 10. Really easy. I'm going to keep this calculation really simple, all right? So that would be, of course, $10,000 per month. But when we are actually doing this, we actually do an annual number. Okay, so then you, of course, would multiply this by 12, which would give you $120,000 per year. Okay, because you want to do annual numbers, all right? So that's why I said it's actually several calculations. And again, if you want an entire class, I am teaching this. Go to noelsrandall.com/masterclass. And also make sure you subscribe to this channel so I can give you all of this great information every weekday. So let's keep going. We said this was your gross income, okay? $120,000 per year because all 10 units are rented at $1,000 per month. Obviously, there are vacancies and things like that, but we can even account for that in the expenses. So say, for example, again, in the net operating income, you would have expenses like maintenance of the driveway, you would have plumbing repairs, you would have cleaning, you would have different utilities and things like that. So let's just say your expenses on this property were, you know, if you're making $10,000 a month, they might be $2,000 per month, okay? So let's just say the expenses monthly are $2,000 per month. Obviously, we then have to multiply this by 12, and that would be $24,000, okay? So now you have your gross income, $120,000, all right, minus $24,000 in expenses, okay? So this is how you would come with this calculation so that you could first get, of course, your net operating income. This is your net operating income, all right? I want you to be aware of what your calculations are. So let's just do a quick math. Let's say that is $120,000 minus $24,000. That is $96,000, okay? $96,000, all right? So that is your net operating income you could expect to make this amount annually. Now, let's just assume a very simple purchase price. We'll assume that this property is a 10 unit, so it will probably be selling for like $1 million at a minimum. Let's just say it's an even $1 million, all right? So now that you have your net operating income and it's $96,000, and now we said that the purchase price is $1 million, okay? Now you would have, obviously, a very simple calculation. Obviously, I don't have to do this on my calculator, but I will, just so that you can see it is 0.96 or 9.6%. That would be your cap rate. Now, what does this calculation actually mean? So for some, this is a very, very good calculation, but more so, like I said, it is very comparative. So if I had another 10-unit apartment or a 12-unit or even a 14-unit apartment, I would want to do these calculations and compare these two cap rates to see which one would be a better investment for me. Sometimes people will ask, is a good cap rate? What is a good cap rate? This is not really a question that can be answered because every single investor has a different thing that they are doing, and there are so many other calculations that we can add in here that I want to tell you about that you need to know as an investor. Let's talk about that. So if this is a 10 unit and they're renting for $1,000 per month, well, guess what? If you bought it for $1 million, you could raise the rents. Maybe the rents in the area are now $1,200 per month, and as all of these leases end, you renew or you get new tenants at a higher monthly rate. This would increase your gross income and possibly keep your expenses lower. Then you would have a higher cap rate. Does that mean that 9.6 is a low number or a bad number? No, it's just a number that you can kind of figure off and compare with another property that you're looking at. Another thing that you could do, of course, because these are rental properties and we're maximizing profits, not only could you raise the rent, you actually might take some equity out of this property, okay, and do some renovations, and then you can raise the rents even higher. You think about that? Did you know that you literally can do renovations and do something that's called forced appreciation? Forced appreciation is where we do renovations to bring up the value. In other words, we are forcing the appreciation. We are forcing the value to go up by adding value to the property through renovations. So again, I'm not sure, again, this is just an example, and that's why the property itself really does matter. Is this a 5-year-old property with all new renovations and the owner that's selling it has already done them? Or is this an old property that needs lots of renovation and there's so much more value that can be added to this property that would increase your profits? These are the things that are really important when it comes to real estate investing, not just the cap rate. Focusing on just the cap rate, quite frankly, is very short-sighted. I literally have been investing in real estate for over nearly 20 years now. I've had my real estate license since 2006, and I've been a full-time investor since 2014. Additionally, I have a master's degree from Penn State in economic development, and I have my master's, my MBA from Baylor University. So I'm very educated, and I can tell you unequivocally, this number all by itself really just doesn't mean very much. There's so many other calculations like your internal rate of return, your cash on cash, because again, I may buy this, okay, it's $1 million. Say I put down, 20%, and that is $200,000. And then as soon as I close on it, bam, look at that. I'm getting $10,000 time, a month. All right. So I spent $200,000 as a down payment. It has a mortgage on it, obviously. But then at the same time, I'm immediately getting back $10,000 per month. That's a good investment. That's cash on cash return. I put out $200,000, I get back $10,000 every single month. So I'll be able to recoup my down payment using this number in less than 2 years. Additionally, this is worth $1 million right now. I'm buying it for $1 million, but what did it appraise for? What if it appraised for $1.5 million and I already have, using this calculation, I have $700,000 worth of equity in it. Would that then be worth it? Absolutely. So there's so many different considerations that you want to put into it, and you even want to put in the financing. What's the interest rate? Is the seller willing to do owner financing? Could I even do less money down and then start making this $10,000 per month? So again, when it comes to real estate investing, cap rate is very important. This is how you do it, but it is not that important, and it is a calculation that by itself is pretty meaningless. So I have a special class where I'm going to be teaching you how to replace your income using real estate and maybe even quit your job just like Noel did and become a full-time investor and make millions. Go to noelsrandall.com/masterclass and register today. Spots are filling up quickly. This is a live masterclass, not a recording, literally on Zoom. You can do it right from your computer, and it is interactive. There is a question and answer session where you literally get to ask me questions about your specific thing. Go right now, noelsrandall.com/masterclass and register today. I just want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the resources, and all of the tools that you need to be successful. This is Noel. To your success.